Hey folks, today we're diving into a gritty western, The Salvation. The story unfolds in the American West during the pioneering era, dusty, chaotic. Our protagonist is John, a Danish veteran who's toiled on this land for 7 hard years. Why? Just to save enough money to bring his wife and son over from their homeland. Today is the day his dream comes true. At the train station, his wife Mary and son Christian have finally arrived. It's an emotional reunion after so long apart. Feels like good times are finally here. They board the stagecoach, heading home, dreaming of their future life together. But you know how it is in the West. Peace is often short-lived. On the coach, besides his family, are 2 lowlifes just released from prison. You can tell right away these guys are bad news. There's malice in their eyes. Sure enough, things don't stay calm for long. One of the thugs starts getting handsy with John's wife, Mary. Utterly brazen, showing zero respect for John. John, trying to keep his cool, warns the man, tells him to back off. His voice tight with suppressed rage. But just as he speaks, the other thug whips out a revolver and presses it right against his head. To protect his wife and child, John freezes, instantly subdued, afraid to move. Now, the first thug gets even bolder, pulling Mary into his grasp. John's heart is breaking, but with a gun on him, he can only look for a chance to fight back. He quietly signals to his wife in their native language, Danish, giving her a subtle cue. Mary proves to be tough herself. Seeing her chance, she bites down hard on the thug's ear. In that moment of chaos, John makes his move, kicking the gun out of the other thug's hand. It looks like the tables have turned. John seems to have gained control. But then, he makes a decision he'll regret for the rest of his life. He tells his young son to pick up the fallen handgun. But a child is a child. Just as he bends down to grab the weapon, the thug who got bitten reacts, pulls out a knife, and plunges it into little Christian. His son collapses instantly, lifeless. The other thug reacts just as fast, grabbing the gun, turning it back on John. It happened too fast. Heaven turned into hell in an instant. The depraved thugs viciously kick John off the moving stagecoach. The coach speeds away into the night, carrying his barely alive wife. In the quiet night, only his wife's desperate cries and the sound of hoofbeats remain. John chases frantically, but how can 2 legs catch a stagecoach? He runs and runs until he's exhausted and finds his son's body in the middle of the road. Heart shattered, he holds his cold son, but he can't stop. Following the wheel tracks, only one thought consumes him. Find them, get revenge. Finally, he spots the stopped stagecoach not far ahead and the dead body of the driver. He picks up the shotgun from the ground, approaches like a ghost. First, a shot to spook the horses. They bolt, pulling the coach. One of the thugs at the back turns around, and John blasts him away. The other, terrified, abandons the coach and tries to run. John raises the gun again, hitting it. The wounded man begs for his life, claiming John's wife is still alive. But John, right now, is consumed by the fire of vengeance. He walks up to the dying thug, one shot, then another, until the gun is empty. He walks to the stagecoach, pulls back the curtain, only to face a scene of deeper despair. His wife Mary, unable to bear the violation, has taken her own life. Within a single day, his family is destroyed. 7 years of waiting led to endless despair. John buries his wife and son, left with only his brother Peter, also an immigrant. But he doesn't know, the real trouble is just beginning. It turns out one of the thugs John killed was the brother of a notorious local boss, Delaru. This Delaru is ruthless, controls the nearby oil fields, has many men, and basically rules the town like a tyrant. His brother killed, Delaru is furious. He rides into town with his men, full of menace. He gives the mayor and sheriff an ultimatum. Find the killer, or he'll execute 2 townspeople in return. The town residents are terrified, trembling under Delaru's power. The cowardly Mayor Keene and the sheriff don't dare resist. They submit. Unbelievably, they actually push forward 2 innocent people as scapegoats. One is an old woman who volunteers to sacrifice herself. The other a helpless, disabled man. Delaru doesn't care if they're the real killers. He executes them both on the spot. He wants to assert his dominance, to terrorize them. He also declares that until the killer is found, the town's protection money is doubled. John and his brother Peter arrive in town now, planning to sell their property and leave this place of sorrow. They still don't know who they killed or the grave danger they're in. The greedy Mayor Keene notices the oil field brand on John's boots and suspects something. He pretends to offer a low price for John's land, testing his reaction. John, heart heavy with grief, just wants to leave quickly and agrees to any price. This convinces the mayor. John is likely the man Delaru is looking for. Just as John is about to leave, the mayor and sheriff spring their trap. The street is eerily empty. The atmosphere is tense. Suddenly, gunmen appear from all directions. Before John can react, a shot hits his leg, and he falls. His brother Peter is captured too. The town, to save itself, chose betrayal and treachery. John is thrown into jail. He begs the sheriff to release his brother, saying Peter had nothing to do with it, that he'll take all the blame. The sheriff knows in his heart that John acted in revenge for his family, that it was justified. But he's more afraid of Delaru. To protect the town and his own position, he coldly states, sometimes you have to sacrifice one sheep to protect the flock. He decides to hand John over to Delaru. The next day, watched by the entire town, John is treated like cargo and given to Delaru's men. They call themselves the Salvation Army, but they're just Delaru's thugs. John is roughly tied onto a horse and led away from this callous town. The townspeople watch him go, not with sympathy, but with relief. John is taken to Delaru's camp, hung up like an animal, left to bake in the scorching sun. Delaru brings a woman to see him. Her name is Madeleine. She was the wife of Delaru's brother, the one John killed. Essentially, his victim's widow. Madeleine's tongue was cut out by natives. She cannot speak. Her eyes are empty, facing the man who killed her husband. She shows little emotion. Perhaps she felt nothing for him either. Delaru intends to torture John, to make his life a living hell. The greedy mayor even shows up, asking Delaru's permission to take the money hidden in John's boots. Meanwhile, John's brother Peter, locked up back in town, hasn't given up. He deliberately provokes the guard, catches him off guard, takes him down efficiently, and escapes. Peter steals a horse and weapons and infiltrates Delaru's camp. Under the cover of night, he moves like a shadow, silently dispatching several guards. He finds John strung up and successfully cuts him down. The brothers try to escape, but run straight into a patrol. A fierce firefight erupts. Gunshots alert the entire camp. A large group of pursuers converges on them. The situation is critical. Peter knows they can't both escape like this. He makes a choice. He hides John behind some rocks, leaving him the rifle. Then, he rides off in another direction, shouting, drawing all the enemies after him. He's sacrificing his own life to give his brother a chance. The sound of gunfire fades into the distance, followed by deathly silence. The next day, John wakes up in the desolate wilderness. He hears hoofbeats and quickly takes cover. Delaru and his men ride past. John's heart sinks. Because he sees what they're dragging behind the horse, it's his brother Peter's corpse. His only remaining family, dead trying to save him. John's eyes turn cold, filled only with hatred and the resolve for revenge. This world took everything from him. Now he'll make it pay. John sneaks back into town. First stop, the greedy, cowardly mayor. He takes back his money and boots, and forces the mayor to confess the whole dirty scheme. The mayor and Delaru conspired, exploiting the townsfolk, buying land cheap to sell high to the oil company. For scum like this, John shows no mercy. He makes the mayor lie down in the coffin he brought. Next, he finds the young boy in town who sells weapons. This boy's grandmother was the old woman murdered by Delaru earlier. The boy wants revenge too and volunteers to go with John. John looks at his young face and refuses. This is his fight alone. He buys weapons and ammunition, preparing meticulously. Interestingly, Madeleine, the mute woman, seems to have left Delaru's camp at some point. She appears to be watching John from the shadows. Perhaps she has her own plans for revenge. The next day, a horse pulls a coffin and stops before Delaru's camp. Delaru opens it to find the mayor's body inside. This is John's declaration of war. Before Delaru can react, the camp's oil storage bursts into flames. John's work. Chaos erupts. John, like a vengeful ghost, strikes from the shadows. Delaru's men rush out to fight the fire, becoming easy targets for John's rifle. One shot, one kill. Precise and deadly. John uses the terrain and tactics to pick them off. The determined young boy secretly followed him anyway, taking shots from a rooftop. But he's inexperienced, quickly gives away his position, and gets shot by an enemy below. As he falls, however, he knocks over a kerosene lamp, accidentally burning that enemy alive, getting his revenge. During the gunfight, John sees Madeleine held hostage by a big bearded thug. Without hesitation, he shoots the thug, saving her. The beard guy tries to fight back, but John finishes him quickly. But this exposes John's position, and a bald thug shoots him in the leg. He quickly uses a hole in the floor to drop downstairs for cover. The bald thug pursues, peering down the hole, only for John to thrust a knife up, blinding him. The thug screams and runs. John emerges, takes aim, shoots, and finishes him with a knife to the throat. Pure efficiency. The skills of a seasoned soldier on full display. But now he's completely exposed in the open. Just as he prepares to move again, another bullet hits him. It's Delero. He was waiting for this moment. Delero walks up to the fallen John, savoring his victory, ready to use his signature barbed wire bat to finish him. He mocks John, enjoying the moment of revenge. Just as he raises the bat, a gunshot rings out. It's Madeleine. She shot Delero from behind. The woman who had been silent finally erupts. She despised the Delero brothers. Delero, wounded, looks at Madeleine in disbelief. He struggles, trying to fight back, but Madeleine's eyes are cold as she shoots him again. The monstrous Delero finally collapses. John struggles to his feet, walks over to Delero. For his wife, for his son, for his brother, and for everyone oppressed. He raises his gun and personally ends the devil's life. The gunshot echoes across the ravaged camp. It's finally over. The dust settles, the smoke clears. John and Madeleine stand amidst the wreckage. They've both lost so much, but they've claimed justice for themselves. And guess who shows up now? That's right, the sheriff and his posse of lawmen. Always arriving late, only after the fighting is done. The sheriff surveys the bodies and the burning camp, then approaches with fake sincerity. He even tries to commend John, saying he rid the town of a great evil. Looking at this hypocritical face, John feels nothing but contempt and disgust. This was the man, this was the town, that chose betrayal. Now they want to claim credit? Too late. John says nothing. He just quietly raises his shotgun. Madeleine, standing beside him, raises her weapon too. The silent gesture speaks volumes, a powerful warning. The sheriff sees the two barrels aimed his way, sees the coldness in their eyes, and loses his nerve. He knows he's powerless against them. He mumbles something about God's forgiveness. Then he and his men turn tail and leave ignominiously. In this land, salvation ultimately comes through one's own strength. John looks towards the horizon, his eyes filled with complex emotions. His home is gone, his family gone. Madeleine walks over, offering him a horse. Two souls scarred by fate, now sharing a connection. No words are needed, a look is enough. John mounts the horse. Madeleine gets on another. They don't look back at the town, nor linger in this land filled with painful memories. Side by side, they ride towards the distant horizon, heading into an unknown future. In this brutal Western world, their path to salvation, perhaps, has just begun. All right, that's the story of The Salvation, a straightforward but powerful revenge film. See you next time.